Hello from beautiful Palm Springs. I'm here on vacation. Woo woo. Love the artwork in the background. Look, this week I wanted to talk about awesome gay people. Look, listen, there's a lot of gay people here in Palm Springs, and I love being a member of the LGBT. I think we're amazing. And if you're a member of the LGBT, I want to talk to you about one reason why being LGBT is awesome and what huge advantage we have if we think about it that way. I don't know if you noticed, but have you ever wondered why the LGBT crew is so forward-thinking and innovative, and we tend to lead trends, and we're very high achievers, and we have a great, deep sense of empathy and compassion? I thought about why this tends to be, and the answer that I came up with is that necessity is the mother of invention, okay? We needed to be creative with our lives in order to survive, a lot of us. All right, here's a personal story. I don't know if you know this, but I grew up in poverty with a single grandmother in San Francisco before it was pretty. I was eating blocks of government cheese that we would get from the government. And once they got stale, I would use them as doorstops in science projects. And the lab rats never went for it. Anyway, I would often joke that if I were a straight guy, I would have just lived to my parents' expectations. I would have killed with the woman at the Korean Baptist church. What I mean when I say this joke is I probably would have grown up aiming to be what was expected of me from my family. To be straight, to be a good, very good Baptist Christian with a very good job and a home on the cul-de-sac. There was a path that was already lined up for me to follow, and I would have followed that path. It's a perfectly legitimate choice of lifestyle, but it's something that maybe you want to consider choosing. There's a difference between choosing that lifestyle because you want it and having it laid out for you and you being rewarded for following the path that was already existing for you. And as a gay person, I could not follow that path. And in the beginning, it was extremely painful. And we, as gay people, are put into a position where we have to confront this reality really early. And, so many of us are born into a situation where we must comply to the expectations put on us by our parents and society and live in ways we might not necessarily choose because it is considered the good way to live. It's considered normal. This is where being gay becomes a huge advantage. Being gay, we're in a biological position where we cannot be this normal if we tried, most of us. Some of us can override our gayness better than others and fit in for a while, but sexuality is incredibly difficult to overcome. If you're watching this, imagine, straight men, I want you to do an exercise for me. Imagine if you had to pretend to like dick. Really. If you had to live with a hairy dude next to you. Imagine sucking a dick if that was considered normal. You would probably gag. I mean, literally, figuratively. I asked my lesbian friends and they say this is true. So being gay forces us to kind of make choices that with our lives that have a lot to do with who we are and really examine who we are, right? So when you don't fit in with the 90% of the population and you don't fit in with the social expectation of marriage with 2.5 kids, you kind of have to create your own path. Acquiescing to a life presented to us is not really an option. So we need to be forward thinkers if we have any chance of being happy in life. It's either completely kill off that side of us that is gay and deny it, which some people do, and it never ends well. As far as I know, they usually end up being politicians in the closet. They always get found out. Or we, as gay people, have to take charge of our lives and create our own destiny, our own family, our own culture, our own norms, and our own way of dress, and actively create the life we want. It is actually an incredible opportunity. It's a beautiful pot of gold at the end of the rainbow after a tumultuous start for many of us. because we don't fit in the ways that the world has created for us. Sometimes when we are born, it can feel like we're given a coloring book to color within the lines with. But with gay people, it's like we're given a coloring book and then given these huge markers that can't fit in the lines. So we have to get a bigger piece of paper and create our own lines to color in and make our own. There's a beauty in that which allows us to be example of people who create our own destinies and who are ourselves, okay? Many people look up to members of the LGBT community for being ourselves so boldly. A lot of the times, it was necessary for us to be this way. It was either this or live a lie. And that's very difficult to do for a sustained period of time. So what am I saying? I would love for everyone to take some time, straight or gay or whatever, to start questioning what it is you really want to create in your life. There's a lot of social expectations that is put on you. There's a lot of items trying to sell you things as normal and that you got to do this or that in order to feel like you're a member of society. I want you to start questioning what makes you happy before just lining up with what's expected. Okay? The joy that I discovered in having to really create my own path has been incredibly rewarding. Well, I wanted to take some time this week to honor my LGBT brothers and sisters and recognize the bravery within our LGBT community members and the boldness that and the bravery it takes to actually step forward out of necessity, but it really does impact the world in a positive way and inspires the world to create lives that is meaningful to each person for who they are. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this brought you some good feelings for the week, and I will see you next week. Thank you and have a great week.